I thought it was over. We just defeated the 8 hardest gym leaders in all of Pokemon Minecraft and survived with only a single Pokemon remaining. But I just found out there are 4 more elite trainers, and all of them are much stronger than the gym leaders we faced before. And this time, we'll have to face them back to back, all with the same team and all with our Pokemon only having 1 life. If they get knocked out in battle, they are dead and gone forever. So we need to build the perfect team to not only beat all of the Elite 4 members, but to also survive. Rouge was our only surviving Pokemon last time, and luckily she will still be good for the Elite 4. But that still leaves us with 5 more Pokemon we need to catch and add to the team. And almost immediately, we found the first Pokemon we were looking for, Slowbro. Yes, let's go. Okay, that is our first new team member, Slowbro, added to the team. But since this is a Nuzlocke challenge, we're only allowed to catch 1 Pokemon per biome, so we can never catch another Pokemon in a snowy beach. And since we caught a lot of Pokemon last time, we are down to only a few biomes left, so we'll have to pick our team very carefully. And since picking a good team is so important for this challenge, a not very strong Slowbro might seem like an odd choice, but I'll explain how later. But Fast Girl is going to be probably the most important Pokemon on our team. But the third Pokemon I want to add to the team is another unconventional pick, Sableye. Sableye doesn't have the best stats, and in fact, it's actually one of the weakest Pokemon of all time, but it does have one saving grace: its hidden ability, Prankster. This ability makes you always move first if you're using a status move. So we won't be using Sableye to do any attacking, but purely as a support Pokemon. Because in this Nuzlocke, to try to win, we are going to need a balanced team of attackers, defenders, and supporters. If we tried to just go all out with only attackers, our team would get destroyed by the Elite 4. But here in the Deep Dark Cave, Sableye only has a 0.19% chance to spawn. So it was a little bit of a grind to try to find one, but I just killed every other Pokemon that spawned in the area to get new spawns. And after only about an hour, oh my gosh, yes, we found one. But looking for just a single Pokemon for over an hour might seem like a really long time to you, but I say it only took that long because this was nothing compared to how long it took to find our next Pokemon. Right now, we have a support Pokemon, a defensive Pokemon, and a mixed attacker slash defender. So now we need a dedicated attacker on the team to deal some real damage. So I made my way to a dark forest biome because there we can find a Sprigatito, which when evolved into Meowscarada is insanely fast and very strong. A perfect Pokemon to hopefully sweep our opponent's team. But Sprigatito only has a 0.02% chance to spawn, so finding this Pokemon was not going to be easy. I immediately started chopping down trees to make as much spawning space as possible for the Pokemon, and even though the odds are low, after only about 20 minutes of clearing space, you won't believe what I found. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait, what? What is this thing again? This is a legendary. No way. Wait, but we literally can't catch it. I need this biome for something else. Oh my gosh, this is gonna hurt. I'm so sorry. This sucks. No way. It's a bittersweet moment finding something even rarer than a Sprigatito, but we can't catch it. It's a little bit slower than Meowscarada, and even though it does have a higher attack stat, Meowscarada will be able to deal significantly more damage than Iron Leaves for a very specific reason that I'll explain later. So it was back to hunting for Sprigatito, which was already taking longer than the hunt for Sableye. But I did end up crafting a Pokedex so I could at least scan the new Pokemon and register them into my dex without catching them. So I was still having a fun time along the way, but almost exactly 40 minutes later, I found something. Oh my gosh, another legendary? Wait, I can't register it. Wait, it's like broken. What? Are you serious? There's no way I just got scammed out of another legendary. It's not like I could catch it anyway, but still. 2 legendaries found, but still no green cat. So I went back to chopping down trees to make as much spawning space as I could. And I know deforestation is bad, but I did what I had to do. It has been over an hour and a half at this point, searching for Sprigatito. So I was willing to do anything I could to get it to spawn, including slaughtering every other Pokemon in existence, which isn't necessarily entirely bad because they can drop TMs when I do this, and I really need those. But as I kept searching and slaughtering, nothing was helping. It has been hours at this point, and I still haven't found the cat. And I'm probably never going to. So I decided to officially give up. Oh my god. Oh my god, finally. So finally, that is our 4th Pokemon added to the team. Only 2 more to go, and I have the perfect one in mind. And unfortunately, it's probably gonna take just as long to get. With our current team, we need one more all-out attacker. So I want to catch Hisuian Cyndaquil, because when it's evolved, it has good speed and a fantastic special attack stat that is even higher than its base form. And it's also one of the very few Pokemon that learn the move Eruption, which is a very high damage fire attack that can hit both opponents in a double battle. And the first Elite Four member is an ice-themed double battle trainer. So this move will literally be perfect. But Cyndaquil has the same spawn rate as Sprigatito and only spawns in the Crimson Forest biome. So it looks like we're gonna be stuck in the Nether for a while. Oh my god, no way. Please don't despawn. Is this the Hisuian form? Oh my gosh, I think it is. Dude, I've only been doing this for like maybe 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, this is such a rare spawn. I thought I was in for this than even longer than Sprigatito. Yes, let's go. Hisuian Quilava. Oh my gosh, that literally could not have gone any better. Just to show, look at this. That is an ultra rare 0.036% chance to spawn. That's even rarer than the Cyndaquil, which is what I was trying to find. Including the first part of this challenge, we've already used up quite a bit of our capture. So figuring out a good final Pokemon to bring wasn't easy until I remembered that we have an entire dimension we haven't even been to. And in the end, a rare spawn we can find is Beldum, who evolves into Metagross, which has some great stats since it's a pseudo-legendary. But even though his attack stat is easily his highest, we are actually going to use him as a defensive Pokemon to fully round out our team. And I have a really good way to do that, which I'll explain when we get there, but we have to actually find a Beldum first. Oh, Eternatus? Are you kidding me? What are the odds of Eternatus? That's got to be one of the rarest ones. 0.02% chance. I love Eternatus. This game is just torturing me today with making me kill all these awesome Pokemon. But at least with that legendary spawn out of the way, I can clear out all these other Pokemon, including these unknowns, which don't have a model in the game, so they just look like substitute dolls. And eventually a Beldum has to spawn. Oh my god. Another Ultra Beast, dude? What are the odds of this? The ugly substitute dolls were bothering me, so I installed the texture pack to make them look like the actual Pokemon. There we go. Looks much better now. And after getting rid of a ton of them, I finally found what I was looking for. Yes, here we go. Beldum. This didn't take too long, so that is our entire team caught. Even if I wanted to, we are not allowed to catch another Pokemon because we have to beat the entire Elite Four with only these 6. And if any of them faint during the battle, they are dead and gone forever. And we'll have to move on to the next battle with a missing Pokemon. So we need to make sure that each of these Pokemon are as strong as possible. Okay, well that's stupid. Of course, the first thing we had to do to prepare our Pokemon is level them all up to the level cap of 85 and evolve the ones who need it into their final evolutions. And we also need to give all of them held items. Rouge is already holding the Toxic Orb, which will automatically poison her in battle, which might seem bad, but she has the ability Poison Heal, which makes her heal instead of take damage from poison. So this lets her be a much stronger defensive tank for the team. And I decided to give Precious the Focus Sash item, which will guarantee her to survive at least one hit, so she can't be one-shot, which is great for a Pokemon with such a low HP stat. And to Darmani, I gave the Choice Specs item, which boosts his special attack by 50%, which is insanely strong, but has the downside of locking him into only using a single move until he switches out. And Deku, we gave the Choice Scarf, which boosts his speed by 50%, but also locks him into only using one move as well. And I'll hold off on explaining the item I chose for Big Guy because it'll make much more sense once we're in battle. But for Fast Girl the Slowbro, we have a very special item we need to get. See, Slowbro is one of the few Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, which means it can evolve in battle to become even stronger. But this evolution reverses as soon soon as the battle is over. Mega Pokemon, like Mega Slowbro, are insanely strong, but you need to give them a rare item called a Mega Stone in order to do it. But these stones are very rare and hard to find. What? No way. A shiny Starly? Dude, why does this game love to torture me? I'm not even trying to catch Pokemon anymore. Goodbye. But in part 1 of this challenge, where we defeated the first 8 gym leaders, I accidentally found one of these meteorites underground, and I had no idea what it even was. But since recording that, I have learned that in the middle of them, ooh, here we go, is a Mega Stone. Yes, a Mega Stone. Each Mega Stone has to be specifically made to match the Pokemon you're going to Mega Evolve. So I used that stone to craft Slowbro Knight, and I gave it to Fast Girl so that once we're in battle, she'll be able to evolve into Mega Slowbro, which will massively increase her defense and boost her special attack. And that is going to be very important for these fights. So now every Pokemon is caught and has their health item, but there's still one final thing we have to get: ability patches. You can use these to change your Pokemon's ability, and we need 3 of them for 3 of our Pokemon. But each one requires a Wither Star to craft, so we're gonna need to go back into the Nether and grind for 9 Wither Skulls. Oh, no way. Oh, this is like one of my favorite legendaries. Dude, come on. We already have a Plains Pokemon that died. No. Goodbye, my amazing bird. No, it drops a bunch. Another sword. Okay, so I guess we actually only need to grind for 6 Wither Skulls. This was the only time so far that finding a legendary Pokemon that I can't even catch actually ended up being a good thing. But with my looting 3 sword, I grinded Wither Skeletons until I got the 6 skulls we needed and took out the Wither in back-to-back fights for 2 additional stars, so we could craft all 3 ability patches. And these patches specifically let you change your Pokemon's ability to their hidden ability, which is usually their best one. So we changed Fast Girl's ability to Regenerator, which restores 1/3 of her health every time she switches back into battle. And for Precious, we swapped her ability to Prankster, which gives all of her status moves priority, so she'll always move first. And we swapped Deku's ability to Protein, which is, in my opinion, one of the best abilities in all of Pokemon. This ability changes your type to match the type of attack that you use. And in Pokemon, there's a mechanic called Stab, which stands for same type attack bonus, which means if you're the same type as the attack you use, its damage will be boosted by 50%. So since the Protein ability changes your type to match the attack, it's basically just a boost to all of your damage by 50%. And with Deku's already high attack stat, this will make him hit hard. And to finalize everything, I went through our massive collection of TMs to give all of our team the best possible movesets I could come up with. And I used mints and vitamins to make sure all of their stats were as ideal as possible. All right, that is the full team officially all ready to go. Every single one of them is as prepared as we can be. So now all that's left to do is to go fight the Elite Four. It's already been quite a journey already, but this is where the real challenge officially starts. We have 4 fights back to back, and if any of our Pokemon faint along the way, they are dead and gone forever, permanently weakening our team. But there's no turning back now. It's time to prove how strong of a Pokemon trainer we truly are. And here is the first Elite Four member. Our first battle against Lorelei, and this battle is a double battle, and we need to lead with 2 very specific Pokemon, Darmani and Precious. All right, here goes nothing. Lorelei, please do not kill me. Lorelei leads with both Glaceon and Alolan Ninetales, because this Elite Four fight is a double battle. And Ninetales' ability is Snow Warning, which causes it to start snowing, which you can't see in game, but snow doubles the defense of all Ice-type Pokemon on the field. So Lorelei is off to an immediate advantage. But since they're both Ice-type, I'm gonna go with Eruption from Darmani, which is a very strong Fire-type move that will hit both of them. And with Precious, this is where the real strategy comes in. Precious has the Prankster ability, so status moves always get to go first when they're used by Precious. And I'm gonna use Sunny Day to get rid of the snow, lowering their defenses back to normal, and that will boost the power of Fire-type moves, making Darmani's Eruption do even more. But Ninetales did hit both of our Pokemon with a Blizzard attack. But that's okay because Eruption took them both out. Let's Go, dude. Our plan worked perfectly, one-shotting both of her lead Pokemon. And now Calyrax's Ice Rider and Abomasnow are out here. Abomasnow's ability is also Snow Warning, so the snow weather is back. But both of her Pokemon are insanely slow and Ice type, so Precious can set up the sun and Darmani can use Eruption again to one-shot both of them before they can even move. Goodbye, idiots. Yes. And now she's down to her final two Pokemon, Rotom and Azumarill, both of which are part water type. And I don't want to risk Darmani's life, so I switched him out to Deku, who resists water attacks. But Azumarill knows a favorite type move, which is super effective against Deku and Precious. So I want to get rid of it as fast as possible. So I switched out Precious into a big guy who resists favorite type attacks, and I used Deku's super effective Flower Trick on Azumarill to try to knock it out as quick as I could. Okay, that did good damage, but Rotom used Thunder Wave and paralyzed Deku. So I switched into Fast Girl and Rotom Thunder Waved Big Guy. But then Azumarill used Play Rough on Fast Girl. So it's good that we switched Deku out because that attack would have killed Deku for sure. But Big Guy was able to retaliate with Meteor Mash and take Azumarill out this turn. Now she's just down to Rotom. I didn't want to risk Fast Girl getting hit by a super effective electric move, so I switched back into Deku since Rotom has nothing super effective against him, and a single super effective knockoff from Deku was able to take out Rotom, officially ending our first Elite Four battle. Perfect. Good job, team. Good job, everyone, except for you, Lorelei, loser. That is one Elite Four member down. 3 more to go, and they will only get harder from here. We're allowed to heal our Pokemon back to full in between battles, but if one of them dies, we are down a teammate for the rest of the fights. And now for the second Elite Four member, Bruno, the fighting type trainer. And this is just a singles battle, and we have one Pokemon that if we play our cards right, should be able to just completely sweep his team. Bruno leads with Urshifu, one of the strongest Pokemon in all of competitive Pokemon. But this Urshifu only knows one attack that isn't weak against Fast Girl, so we know for a fact it's going to use U-turn, which forces it to switch out. So we can Mega Evolve and get a free Calm Mind up. Mega Evolving Fast Girl here increases her defense by a ton, so she hardly took any damage from Urshifu's super effective attack, which did force him to switch out and into Lucario. And the Calm Mind that we used raised our special defense and our special attack. But the thing with Lucario is it knows no moves that are effective against Fast Girl. Because of this, we can use Calm Mind 5 more times, maxing out our special attack and defense with no worry at all about being knocked out. And we can use Slack Off to heal back all of the damage Lucario did, which means we are now fully set up and we can use Psyshock to knock out Bruno's Lucario in a single hit. So he's already down a Pokemon, but we are full health, Mega Evolved, and maxed out to both of our special stats. And his strongest Pokemon, Crown Zacian, used Swords Dance, so we didn't even have to tank a hit, and we one-shot it with Scald. And then we one-shot his Terrakion, and then we one-shot his Conkeldurr, and then we one-shot his Scizor. Oh. His Scizor knocked us out. No! A super effective U-turn took out Fast Girl. No, dude. That is our first Pokemon down, and now for the rest of the battles, we'll only have 5 Pokemon on our team. But we'll only even get to the rest of those battles if we can figure out how to get through the rest of this one now that our main strategy is completely ruined. I used Toxic to poison Urshifu, so it'll eventually die. But it hit me in return with Close Combat, which wasn't very effective. And I tried to use Protect to prevent myself from taking damage, but when it used Close Combat again, it actually did do damage. Oh, that's right, because of Urshifu's ability. Urshifu's ability goes through Protect. Rouge's main strategy is to stall with Protect and let Poison do the damage. But since I can't Protect against this Pokemon, I switched into Darmani, since he is immune to fighting type attacks like Close Combat and could switch in without taking any damage. So now let's just use Eruption here. Aqua Jet. Okay, we survive. And Eruption takes it out. Okay, perfect. And that forced back out his final Pokemon, who Darmani is 4 times super effective against. So just one more Eruption was able to take it out. So that went pretty well, except we lost Fast Girl. She got us through almost his entire team except for 2. I mean, I guess that was worth it. Good game, Bruno, I guess. Rest in peace, Fast Girl, in the comments. She deserves it. I healed our remaining Pokemon back to full and headed on to the 3rd Elite Four member, Agatha, the Ghost type trainer. And even though Slowbro is weak to Ghost type, I was planning on using it for this fight. So this is very sad that we don't have her. But hopefully Rouge will be able to get us through. Agatha leads with Grimmsnarl, the ugliest Pokemon of all time. I mean, look at its face. But right off the bat, we used Toxic to poison Grimmsnarl, and Grimmsnarl hit us back with a Spirit Break, which didn't do too much damage. So with Protect, Substitute, and our Poison Heal ability, we were able to heal back to full health, while Toxic brought Grimmsnarl down to low health. And this is where the true strategy starts. Okay, but now after all that Toxic, Grimmsnarl is down to pretty low health, where one attack from me plus the Toxic damage would take it out. And I think Agatha knows that, so I think she's going to heal it this turn, because every Elite Four member has 2 heals they can use. So since she's going to fully heal it, which will also get rid of the poison, I'm going to Toxic right now to just instantly get it poisoned again. Okay, yes, she healed. Now we use Toxic to instantly poison it again, and I want to just get her down to low health one more time, so she'll waste her other heal so she can't use them on her other Pokemon. So with Protect and Substitute keeping us safe and letting Toxic drain Grimmsnarl's health, my plan was working perfectly, and Agatha wasted her last full heal, so we won't have to worry about that for any of her other Pokemon, and we are now free to knock out Grimmsnarl. So Agatha brought out her second Pokemon, Marshadow. Marshadow's main strategy is to use Spectral Thief, which is a 90 power Ghost type move that steals all of your stat boosts, which is exactly why we haven't used any stat boosting moves this battle. But we did tank 1 hit from this attack, which did do quite a bit of damage, but in return, we got a Toxic off to poison Marshadow. But none of the rest of our team has any super effective moves against this Pokemon, so our only choice is to try to stall for Toxic. But the other gimmick of Spectral Thief is that it goes through Substitute, so we can't just stall with Rouge like before. So I switched into Big Guy, who did tank a super effective hit. Oh, that did so much damage. But he's one of our only other Pokemon who knows Protect, so he was able to stall through one more turn, bringing Marshadow down to below half health. But Big Guy cannot tank another hit, and Protect only has a 33% chance to work twice in a row. So to be safe, I switched back into Rouge, who tanked one more hit. Oh my gosh, that is so much damage. This was also the turn that Marshadow finally died from poison, so Agatha brought out Spectrier. Okay, this is a scary one because it knows Shadow Ball, which could do a lot of damage to us, but Rouge is pretty tanky, so I think we literally just have to use Toxic here to poison it, because this Pokemon is insanely fast. It'll always move first. Oh wait, it used Hidden Power. Why? It knows Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball, which would have done more damage. Why is it using Hidden Power? For some reason, this Pokemon that is supposed to be one of Agatha's main sweepers is an idiot. It keeps using its weakest move. So with Substitute and Protect, we were able to stay near full health the whole time, while Toxic easily brought Spectrier down to a sliver of health. But right before it got knocked out, I decided to switch into Darmani, since it's immune to the fighting type Hidden Power Spectrier is spamming. So we got a free switch in on the same turn that Spectrier faints. But Agatha brought in Hydreigon, which is the only one of her remaining Pokemon that we don't want to fight with Darmani. Deku is really our only answer for beating this Pokemon, but Hydreigon knows Flamethrower, which is super effective against Deku. So to give him a chance to survive that, I first brought in Precious. Please don't be a mistake. Precious tanked a Dark Pulse, but cannot survive another hit. So this, unfortunately, is going to be a sacrifice, because we have to set up a Rain Dance here, because in the rain, fire type attacks only deal half of their normal damage. So this is the only way we can give Deku a chance to survive Hydreigon's Flamethrower. And Hydreigon is faster than Precious, but that's why we had to give her the Prankster ability so she could go first. So we successfully set up the rain and said goodbye to Precious, as she got knocked out by another Dark Pulse. But that gave us a free switch in to Deku. So we have to hope that we survive a Flamethrower and that Triple Axle will knock out Hydreigon. Please, crit? No! No! Hydreigon survived on a sliver of health and hit us with a super effective flamethrower, but thanks to Precious's Rain Dance, the damage was halved and Deku survived and was able to knock out Hydreigon this turn, which brought Agatha down to her final 2 Pokemon. And Dragapult is weak against our Ice-type move too. Yes! 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 Okay, now we're down to Gengar, which might seem fine, but Dragapult's ability was Cursed Body, which disabled our only attacking move. But that's an easy fix, because I just switched into Rouge to tank a hit, and then switched back into Deku, and hit Gengar with a super effective knockoff for the kill. Yes! Oh my god! That was the closest battle by far. We lost Precious, which sucks, but I'm not even mad. We beat Agatha. That is the 3rd Elite Four member down. We added Precious to the graveyard with all of our other fallen Pokemon, and now we're down to only a team of 4 to attempt to take out the 4th and final Elite Four member, Lance, the Dragon type trainer. And you might notice there's one more arena back there, but that's because we don't just have to take on the Elite Four. We also have to take on the Pokemon Champion. The final Pokemon Champion is stronger than all of the Elite Four members and has a team full of the strongest Pokemon in the game. But to even get to him, we have to get through this battle against Lance first. We are leading off with Big Guy against his Aerodactyl. And this is exactly why we gave Big Guy the Air Balloon item. See, Big Guy is weak to ground type moves, and Aerodactyl knows Earthquake, so it'll always try to hit us with that. But with the Air Balloon, we are immune to ground type moves, and the AI isn't smart enough to realize that. So this gives us completely free reign to set up. So we're gonna go with Cosmic Power. Oh no, it withdrew. Oh, and it went into Dragonite. Okay, that's fine. We use Cosmic Power to raise both of our defenses. Dragonite also knows Earthquake, so it is going to keep spamming that. But unfortunately for Dragonite, Big Guy is immune. So we can just spam Cosmic Power 5 more times to boost both of our defenses to the max and easily knock out Dragonite without taking even a sliver of damage. But then Lance brought out Dialga. Might seem like a big threat because it's a giant legendary Pokemon, but luckily for us, it's weak to Body Press. And Body Press does more damage the higher your defenses are. So with our fully maxed out stats, we took almost no damage from a super effective flamethrower, and we one-shot Dialga. And it didn't stop there. And we survived barely, and we Meteor Mash, taking it out, and that is Lance's entire team. Let's go. Swept by Big Guy and the Air Balloon. Let's go. Lance, you suck. But this is no time to celebrate yet. The hardest fight is still ahead of us. This is Champion Terry, whose team isn't a specialized type. He just has a fully competitive ready Pokemon team. And if we can beat it, then we become the Pokemon Champion. But he has 6 full Pokemon, and we are down to 4. So the odds are definitely stacked against us, but that's not going to stop me from trying. Terry leads with Pheromosa, an Ultra Beast Pokemon that is insanely fast and strong. And the only move that this Pheromosa knows that isn't weak against Darmani is a Poison Jab. And I'm pretty sure we can survive a Poison Jab, so we should just be able to use Eruption. Pheromosa did use Poison Jab, and I very easily survived it. And when we hit her back with Eruption, she only survived because she was holding a Focus Sash. But I assume Terry is going to try to heal Pheromosa now, so this should just give us a free chance to just knock it out without taking any extra damage. Okay, yes, full restore, but the Focus Sash is gone now, so we just knock it out. Perfect. But then Terry brought out Yveltal, a dark and flying legendary Pokemon that has a ton of strong moves, so I really wasn't sure which one it was going to use. So I took a risk and locked in Eruption, hoping it would bring it down to at least low health, but our attack didn't even do half. And when it hit me back, oh my gosh, we survived on 10. We barely survived, and Yveltal healed almost back to full because the move it used was Oblivion Wing, its signature move, which does massive damage and heals Yveltal for 75% of the damage it dealt. So I decided to bring in Rouge and Toxic Yveltal because poison taking it out is really our only chance. But Oblivion Wing did well over half of our health, so I used Protect to not take any damage this turn and heal a little bit, but we still don't have enough enough health to take a hit and drop a substitute, because substitute takes 25% of your max HP. We literally just have to try and hope that we get the 33% chance for protect to work twice in a row. Please, 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 if I ever get any luck. No, it failed. Oh my gosh, we lived on 1 health. Oh my gosh. That gave us a chance to protect again safely, bringing Yveltal's health even lower. But we can't afford to switch out here, so we have to try again for the double protect. But no, it failed. GG. He used Dark Pulse. No. At least it didn't heal. Okay. Wait. It didn't heal because it randomly chose that move. Wait, but we lost Rouge. Rouge was the only Pokemon we had that survived last challenge. So the fact that it's the first to go out during this challenge's finale is almost poetic. But we definitely go Big Guy. Okay, wait, this is a big brain play. Big Guy is our only other Pokemon who knows Protect, so he took no damage, and Toxic finally took out Yveltal. So Terry brought in Groudon, just like I knew he would. Oh my gosh, this giant legendary Pokemon. But guess what? Groudon knows Precipice Blades, and that's what it's going to use against me 100%. But Big Guy is holding the air balloon, so it won't take any damage, so we are free to set up right now. I set up Cosmic Power 6 times in a row, taking 0 damage from Groudon in the process, since he just kept spamming ground moves, which we're immune to. And as soon as our defenses were maxed out, we were able to hit Groudon with a body press and knock it out. Yes! Okay, now it's Metagross v Metagross. Terry's Metagross hit us with a super effective Fire Punch, which did almost no damage because of how buffed our defenses are, and our body press nearly one-shot it. But the Fire Punch did pop our air balloon, so we won't be immune to ground type moves anymore. All right, his Metagross is down. Now Eternatus is his next Pokemon. That makes 4 Pokemon down, 2 more to go. But our main attack isn't very effective against Eternatus, so we had to exchange hits quite a few times, and Eternatus was able to chip our health down to be very low. And we knocked it out. Let's go! Now his final Pokemon is Ditto, who transforms into our Pokemon, Big Guy. The transformed Ditto copies our Pokemon, our moves, and our defense boosts, so our attacks weren't really doing much. But since all of the moves that Ditto copied from us are not very effective against Big Guy, Terry thought the best option was to try to boost its stats with Cosmic Power, without realizing that its defenses were already maxed out from copying us, which gave us free reign to just spam it with attacks. Yes! Yes! Oh my gosh! We completed the Radical Red Nuzlocke. Rouge being the only one that we lost after all of that, when it was the only one we didn't lose before. That's cinema, if I could say so myself. If you agree, make sure to subscribe right now before the video ends quick. And if you want to see me create an invincible illegal Pokemon to battle people with, check out this video on screen. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, love you, bye.